Yeah, we're back. We're live. We're here tonight, and we're talking to a couple of guys from Misfit Apparitions. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Doing good. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for coming in. So let's get started off here. I usually ask a question for people that don't know you or haven't seen you before. Basically, I ask you what got your interest and got you started in the paranormal, and you can both answer separately or you can multi-answer, however you want to do this.
You want to arm wrestle first?
No, you
Okay.
go. You have the
Well, this all started when I went to that cemetery. That's
Yeah.
how he and I have worked together for a number of years before actually becoming a team. We didn't really hang out, but I went to the cemetery. It's called Martha's Chapel Cemetery. It's in Huntsville, Texas, because people have said that there's a demon road and all these things.
Okay.
Always been attracted to cemeteries. So it is in the middle of nowhere.
So is that where you're from? Is Texas?
We're based out of Houston, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm Don.
I'm Ernest.
So I went to the cemetery before sunset and put my thoughts on Facebook. Ernest had read about it and said, "Hey, next time you go, I want to go." And I think it was 11 months later, in the middle of COVID, that myself, another guy that works with us, the three of us went to cemetery at witching hour, about 3:00 in the morning. Same cemetery. And we borrowed some equipment from Crystal, who will show up here momentarily. And we were green. We didn't know anything what we were doing, but we familiarized ourselves enough to use the equipment. And then we just kind of went from there and started going to different places, in-state, out-of-state, Iowa, Kansas. But you've got a more telling experience than I do. Mine is just cemeteries. When I was in high school, I would go to cemeteries just for the hell of it. But you have actually lived somewhere, so you can tell them that.
Yeah, mine started when I was renting a house and hearing footsteps and seeing dark shadows by the mirrors. It startled me at first, but then that's when I started investigating, and so that's when it started for me. So when I knew Don was going to the cemetery, I was like, I want to go. So that's kind of how we became a team.
Yeah, we'd worked together for 5 or 6 years before then and never even talked to each other. And now it's like we're always talking to each other. It's weird how that happens.
Yeah.
No, it's cool how it happens, actually. I was best friends with Joe's brother before I became friends with Joe.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we all worked at the same place.
So, yeah, it's easier when it's like that.
You muted yourself, Joe, so if you're talking, we can't hear you. He must be talking to someone else, like
or
the
something
woman
else.
that walks in the room every now and then.
No, I realized I was sharing stuff and I didn't want to get the feedback come through my speakers.
Oh.
I was looking at the live feed and sharing it. And I realized it, but it's like, yeah, that's about the time I was just getting ready to start work at the same place you two were.
Yep. But I've been involved in paranormal like this since I was like 14, 15 years old. So I'm kind of, when it comes up to doing stuff like that, I'm jaded, man. It very, very little even phases me anymore.
Yeah.
I hear you. Yeah, the footsteps and the banging is kind of like, can you do something else other than that? I'm already used to that.
Yeah, I've heard that quite a while here. Do something different.
Yeah.
So, I guess with the experiences that you guys have had, when you do get stuff that happens around you, do you have that flight response?
Well, we definitely don't run. We react. And it's generally a reaction of excitement. And I guess if if a demon just all of a sudden showed up and deep voice had said something, I don't know how I would react. But the things that we've heard, like at Malvern Manor, when I was excited when I heard a whisper hello, and I picked it up with my ear, it came up on the audio device, so it was exciting that I got to hear that. For me, there was
That
no
is cool.
running. It was like, let's just keep doing this.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just some people actually, you know, they'll go into the paranormal like we do, and they'll want something to happen, and then when it does happen, they get spooked and they take off running. Or
Right.
they'll remove themselves from the area.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know what. Even when our last location in Kansas, the Sally House, when we had that incident where there was a banging on the walls, we just froze, and each of us reacted differently. Ernest had reacted and just stopped, and Mike was getting ready to go under headphones. I was already under headphones, so I didn't hear the intensity of the sound. But Ernest on the video asked Mike if he had a knife. I don't know if that was going to stop anything. But I think our first reaction was that maybe somebody had banged something outside, but we couldn't replicate that sound. We spent the next hour or so with Mike outside banging on different parts of the wall and see if it mimicked that. No. So that was really strange. And then later on finding out that at that same moment upstairs, we had an audio recorder that had recorded a couple of grunts and some footsteps right when that happened. So I don't know what that was. Mike is the skeptic of the group. He turned a little bit towards a believer, but he still thinks that it might have been something else. It was exciting to hear that.
Yeah, that's why I said, do you have your knife? Because I was like, somebody's got to be messing with us outside. But
Yeah.
the way it sounded, it's like it really shook the house. And we couldn't replicate it, like Don said. So that was... something was wanting our attention.
Yeah, we might have pissed it off because before we had live stream, we had done 2 dual live streams upstairs, and our devices were going just completely nuts. Like something liked it, or the K2 was going crazy. Everything was just off the charts. I'd never seen the instruments do that. I had started chanting the Lord's Prayer while Mike was under the Estes headphones, and all he said was, "Stop, stop." I don't know. He was reacting to what he was hearing. That was kind of creepy. But as soon as we stopped the live stream, everything was quiet. We couldn't get any reaction to anything. So we kind of got comfortable in the house and ate some food and maybe watched some videos, some comedy videos that kind of relaxed a little bit. Maybe that was interpreted as disrespecting the house. I don't know.
We did play 90s music.
Yeah, we played 90s music.
Well, that was your problem right there. You should have played 60s, 70s, 80s music, you know?
Yeah.
They could have just said that.
The good stuff where we actually grew up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just started doing that, playing like period music based on I guess when things happened or when the house was most active, like in the 90s with the Pickmans that lived there, and the night before, 2 nights before, we were at McIntyre Villa. We were playing music box music while we were setting up, just to kind of just see if that gets anything going.
Yeah.
You can sometimes get triggers from that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we've had some interesting times. Haunted Hill House. Have you ever heard of that place in Mineral Wells, Texas?
There's a lot of places I haven't heard of. So
that was the first place that we went to, like really, I guess, paying place that we went to, and that was interesting. The aftermath of that kind of affected all of us afterwards. We all went through a period of just dark, bad luck, and Yeah.
I had nightmares for weeks.
Wow.
Even though the owner blesses the people or visitors before they leave if they wish with holy water, and we did not cleanse or smudge before we left. And my daughter and her boyfriend almost got in a car wreck about an hour away. We almost got in 2 car wrecks. Another member, and that's he's not with the team anymore, but they had some issues with their relationship. And on our way back to Houston, Ernest had experienced what he felt like kicking behind us. We were just the 2 of us driving, and he felt like something was kicking him from the back seat.
Yeah, like a little child was just kicking.
So he kept turning, and I just didn't pay attention until he said something. And when he said something, my left pant leg was pulled down. And of course, I wasn't scared, but I was pissed because we didn't cleanse. So we immediately pulled over, hotboxed the car with sage, started burning it, doing chants. Yeah, it's like, okay, we didn't do it right or something. We don't want anything coming back with us. So
Saging is okay. It's just sometimes that actually has the opposite effect as what you want it to be. Sometimes it'll actually tick off whatever's there instead of calming it down. And I can say that because of experience.
yeah. Yeah,
I've had something like that happen to me.
Yeah, we were new in all this, so we were kind of just going as we were excited to investigate. And Ernest likes to watch a lot of these teams that. Hold on one second. I gotta let Crystal in the gate. There we go. Yeah, so Ernest watches a lot of those shows that are on cable, teams that go out there and do that and double dare spirits that hurt them and all this. I just like to do the research of the place. Mike likes to go in blind. So we each have a different way of approaching it.
Yeah.
Crystal, who you'll meet in a minute, she just drove into the gate. Well, she's very good she has a really good heightened sense of this stuff. She knows how to operate a Ouija board. We've done that a couple times at different places. Yeah, she's done it a lot more than we have.
Yeah, she's got that like motherly type of.
She a tarot reader too?
I don't know. We can ask her when she comes in. She's just driving in there.
Okay.
You want to go and get her? Flag her down?
Okay.
No, all right. So, sorry about this.
No, it's okay.
No, it's fine. You said you went. You kind of brought up a memory to me that I had. When I was a kid, and especially when I was in high school, to get away from and get off of school grounds during lunchtime, right next door there was a cemetery. So we used to go and sit in there during lunchtime to smoke our cigarettes or whatever, and stuff. And, it really never occurred to me or bothered me being in those cemeteries. And then there was, when I was younger, we were playing Ghosts in the Graveyard in actual cemeteries.
Oh, wow. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Cemeteries, always loved them. In high school, I would go to them and was looked at like a freak. But if you think about it, nothing bad ever happens at a cemetery. You hear stuff bad happens at school, bad happens at shopping centers, bad happens at home. But you never hear of anything bad happening at a cemetery.
Well, unless you get some of them unpatriotic snobs that go and burn flags in the cemetery and shit like that, Yeah. There's been, what was that? I think about 10 years back or something, most of the Madison cemeteries were being vandalized.
They were being desecrated and vandalized.
See, we're from Wisconsin.
No, you're
he's a California transplant.
California to Wisconsin, huh?
Yep. I met a woman that was from Wisconsin, and she talked me into moving out here.
That's good.
Worst decision of my life.
What a difference in winters, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah. It got cold in Cali. I learned how to drive in the snow and ice in California.
Did you? What part of California?
I lived about 21 miles south of Fresno,
Okay.
and we'd go up into the mountains, up into the Sierra Nevadas, and we'd get snow down in the area of like 2,000 feet. Well, where I learned how to drive in the snow, if you made a mistake, you pretty much were done.
Yeah.
Because some of the roads that we'd take up to the lodge, they were 1,000, 1,200, 1,500 feet drop from the edge of the road down to the valley floor.
They were probably supposed to be closed, huh?
What's that?
They were probably supposed to be closed too, huh?
It depended. It depended on the weather itself.
Yeah.
They had, they go in and clear them and stuff like that. But if they got too bad and they still let you pass through them, you had to put chains on.
So is it true what they say about Texas?
What do they say? What are the things that they say?
They said that if they get so much snow, they shut down the entire state.
If they get so much rain, they'll close the schools. They've done that in our school district. No, I'm serious.
Just over rain?
If
Wow.
there's a threat, a flood warning, yeah, they.
I suppose because you're right on the Gulf Coast and all of that, but
north of there. You want a drink?
my stepfather was from Waco.
Before last.
Yes.
That cabinet.
Waco.
Other one. It's left.
That he lived down in Waco for quite a while before he moved back. He used to bitch about the Wisconsin drivers compared. He's like, man, there's a cop right there, and the guy just blew a stop sign. If they wouldn't have gotten away with that in Texas. Them cops were strict.
Yeah, they'll close here if there's a. It's because they can't have the kids, on buses and the bus floats away or that sort of thing. There's any threat of that, yeah.
Well, my stepfather, because he was born and raised in Wisconsin, okay, yeah, in the upper north part of Wisconsin where they get a lot of snow, right? But
Right.
when he went down there, he's like, he used to tell me a story every now and then. He was driving and they had the roads closed because of like a couple inches of snow,
Mhm.
and they had the cop in the roadblock and all that. And he goes up to the cop and he says, "Man, I'm from Wisconsin." And he opens up the thing and he lets him go through.
Oh,
Because you drive in Wisconsin, but we're used to driving in 2-3 feet of snow sometimes.
right.
But
This is Crystal. I'll let Crystal explain how she got into paranormal because we've already done that.
Hi, Crystal.
Hi, I'm Crystal. Well, I've been into paranormal actually since I was a kid. That's where I kind of got my first spark of interest in it. I've always been able to just kind of feel things and know things are present. I would say, fortunately, it's a great gift and a sad one all at once to be able to, I have family members that have passed, and I usually have a dream the day before they pass. And as I wake up, I usually call, and they have passed. And it was with my grandmother, my father, and my uncle.
Well, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, so just lots of things. And then my mom tells me that, it's just a gift that our family has.
Mm-hmm. So your
More
family
like-
has it too.
More like a curse.
No, Joe.
Here, I'll tell you, I got a very similar thing, but I think it all started with me after I died myself for a few moments. I was diagnosed December 4th, 1995 with AML leukemia.
Wow.
It was so severe that the doctors told me, well, you're not going to survive to see Christmas that year. And I proved them wrong, but in the process, in the emergency room, I died and they were using the paddles to bring me back. And then this happened like 5 times, but one time it happened for a couple of minutes and I had an out of body experience. Okay. And I saw that they were out there in the waiting area trying to attend to my mother because she had a heart problem and they were trying to stabilize her quickly. And next thing I know, I get back and I'm, coming to, and I'm asking my brother and my stepfather and stuff that's standing right there how my mother was. And they're like, she's doing fine. She's just out in the waiting room. I says, no, she's not. I says, what happened? And they're like, how do you know that? And I says, I saw it. But ever since then, okay, and this was back in 95, ever since then, I've kind of gotten these bad feelings and it's grown over time where I can tell who it is before it happens. And, I've predicted a lot and I don't like it.
Yeah, it's hard when it's family.
Yeah, I've lost too many people too quickly. I've seen the death rattle one too many times. No, seen, I should say, heard.
Yeah. Because it's a death rattle.
Right.
But no, yeah, I was just saying, Crystal, I see that your family has it then. See, mine has it as well. It was all on my mom's side of the family. It was always the female that got it. It always skipped the generation until it got to me. I'm the first male in the family that ever got it. I am the never skipped a generation. My mom had it, and then I wound up with it. And now my daughter and granddaughter have it as well.
Really?
Yep. So, yeah, I have the ability to sense energies. I can see auras. I can tell when a person, is being facetious or mean, ornery, however you want to say it. So I can read the people somewhat. So that's my story with this. Plus, like I told the guys, I've been I've been dealing with this since I was about 14, 15 years old. So
Yeah, I was 7. So
yeah. Well, no, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just said it's been quite a while.
Well, how many people has ever used a Ouija board by themselves?
Me?
By yourself?
Yeah.
By yourself.
My mom used to do it growing up.
And what was your age when you did it?
My age was 12.
I did it when I was 8 years old.
Wow. My mom used to hide hers or I would have gotten to it quicker.
Yeah, I was 8 years old. I spent about 2.5 hours sitting cross-legged on the floor with the Ouija board, talking to whatever was talking to me. And the last thing it said to me is it wanted to take me to hell with it. And I said, no thanks, and told it goodbye, and that was that for a little while.
Did you pick it up again afterwards?
Yeah, I'm not afraid of them. I don't fear these things. All they are is another tool in the paranormal toolbox.
You don't fear nothing. In fact, when we went to our school in Maxwell, Iowa, he provoked, and then it bit him in the ass.
Well, I wasn't getting the results I wanted, so
I guess sometimes you have to
be patient.
I kind of pissed it off.
Sometimes
I had 5 pieces of my equipment.
Well,
literally 5 pieces of my equipment subsequently failed on me.
He was locked out of his laptop, and this guy knows his passwords. And he was not typing them in wrong, and he couldn't get in his laptop at the school.
We would have re-imaged it. That's what we would have done. Okay, let's re-image. We're just going to hard reset it.
Reload.
Reload it.
But when I got home, I got a little bit of rest. I turned it on. First time I typed in the password, it accepted it and went right in.
Ghost in the machine.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yep. Literally. So, have you guys ever did something goofy like that? Went and provoked or caused a little bit of issue?
Like, what are you talking about? Go ahead.
I've never done it.
You
Like-
provoked and then
Yeah.
got stuff back.
When we're in Velisca, yeah. It's like, you're a coward if you murder all these kids. Yeah, I'm going to provoke you. That's, who wouldn't? I mean, if the guy was alive, or you'd be choking him to death, right? It's like, you don't do that to people.
Yeah, you're the provoker of the group.
So you're the provoker. She's the sensitive.
I don't know. A lot of stuff happens to Ernest, too. Every time we go
He's a
somewhere,
magnet.
every time we go somewhere, prepare to go somewhere, he has a dream about it all the time.
And how accurate are your dreams?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, that one time we went to McIntyre, and I had a dream that we would put our names in a hat, and we would draw our names with, not our names, but locations of the place. It was at the attic, the second floor, and the basement. And then we just picked out the hat. And what did Mike get? The basement first? I got the attic. No. I got the basement. He got the attic.
basement. The basement was scary.
So in the dream, Mike picked the attic. So he went to the attic first, but nothing happened. But so for my dream, that's what we did. Something different.
I didn't provoke there. There was nothing to provoke.
So, what are some of the coolest things you've had happen to you, other than what you already just described with the banging on the house that kind of shook the whole house?
I think you had a cool one at Jefferson Hotel.
Yes. So Jefferson Hotel, before the new owners. You always have to throw that piece in. Because now it's kind of like a carnival. But back in the day when it was really a hotel. So when you go in, the keeper there, he had a notebook that would tell you all the experiences there at the hotel. But I'm one that, like, I don't want to look at it or know anything about it. I want to develop my own and sense my own. And I don't want any preconceptions in my mind. And so I was married at the time. So my husband and I went, and we slept in the room that I later found out was the room where one of the ladies of the night stayed. So in the middle of the night, he goes to sleep. I'm over on my side. I always sleep on my side, and I like to sleep near the door. It's just habit. I feel my hair being picked up, and I'm like, stop fucking with me. Leave my hair alone. I know it's you. And he's like, what was I doing? He's like, I wasn't doing anything. I was like, I can feel you playing with my hair. Stop. And he swears it's not him. I'm like, okay. So I look over, and he's clearly looking at the wall, because it was one of those beds that's in the corner. So it's the wall. Mm-hmm. And then, because they're really small rooms, and it's me and then the door. So go back to bed. An hour and a half later, I feel the bed pressed down. When someone gets on it, it's a little heavy, so it goes in to where I sink in. So the bed goes down, and all of a sudden the headboard starts hitting the wall, and I feel someone bouncing me on the bed. And I'm like, stop fucking with me. I know it's you. And he was still asleep. When I got up to run out of the room, he's like, where are you going? I was like, I'll tell you out here. So we left. I told him everything that happened, and he's like, it wasn't me, I promise. I was like, okay. So we went back in the morning when the hotel opened back up, and we went to go read the book because I was like, okay, let me see if anyone else has had any similar experiences in that room. And behold, everyone that has stayed in that room has written about it and has experienced the same thing. And it usually happens when it's a male and a female, and it happens to the female because she's mad that you're there with someone that, she should be with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it was pretty much the spirit energies of the madam or the lady of the night that had stayed in that room prior.
Yeah, and it turned out, well, in the history of it, it said that she had committed suicide by hanging herself from the headboard, which was hitting the wall.
That has to be a interesting task to have done.
Okay, the headboard.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
We actually went there. I didn't believe a headboard can be that tall, but it's tall. You can hang from it. That was amazing.
I'm pretty sure lots of things were done with that headboard.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that might have been why that headboard was so tall as well.
I couldn't believe it.
Interesting. That is very interesting, though. Yeah. Anything else from you guys on stuff like that?
Green eyes.
Yeah, I mean, we were at Haunted Hill House that we were just talking about. We were up in the attic, me and Dawn, Crystal. Was it Joshua's room?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she was in Joshua's room, and she was reading a book. And Dawn and I were on the other side by the attic, and as you see, there's this little crawl space. And in there, I saw these green eyes just staring back at me. And I told him, Don, I said, there's some green eyes down there. Of course, he said, shut up. I said, no, I'm serious. There's green eyes that are staring right back at me. And like Crystal, someone had wrote a book about Toby and seeing green eyes.
Or his name was Osmodius, his demon name, yeah. But you experienced that too. You were reading. You just finished reading a book.
Yeah, the pokey little puppy.
Yeah.
The book of choice of the child.
And you can hear the recording.
Yeah, she's telling, as you're saying, don't pull my hair. I'm on the other wall, and that's when I see the green eyes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool when you get stuff like that. So, what kind of devices do you guys use when you go out and do your investigations?
I like
Boo Buddy.
That thing has not been working. Right?
Boo Buddy's like retired. We've tried a couple times, but it just doesn't. Yeah, I think the spirits probably think it's a joke.
I like the RAM pod. I like the RAM pod and the EMF. The EMF, especially just because I can keep it in the car and take it anywhere that I feel like stopping.
The K2, yeah, we need to start taking the K2 to work because there's a lot of people at different schools that say that they claim that the school's haunted, but I keep saying we could just put it, it's got a little clip, just clip it to your belt and just do a little impromptu investigation.
Yeah, we have spirit boxes.
We get a lot of things audio, audio recordings. I went to Haunted Magnolia House. Have you been?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I've heard of the Haunted Magnolia House.
I haven't told you that. We went there. I took her there. It's just a good place to take somebody that's just new to the paranormal, and they want to experience something. But this place it's got a modern section, and then behind the door is the very old untouched area. There's no electricity. There's nothing, no power. But we did a flash session, EVP flash session. We just sat there and just left it on, and just 10 minutes, and then we listened to it back, and we heard footsteps that were beside us. So we did another session, and she had asked, "Do you think spirits can smell?" And I said, "I have no idea." So she had a peppermint patty, and she opened it, and she put it by the recorder, and we recorded that for 10 minutes, and we listened to it. you hear like something had come and like took a sniff of the chocolate.
Cool.
So I guess they were interested. I don't know. That's why I left the candies at McIntyre Villa.
Yeah.
I put the peppermint pad or the peppermints in downstairs because
So I was there when it first reopened. Before the grand opening, there was a soft opening, and you could rent it on Airbnb, the whole thing.
mm-hmm.
And so I rented it, and I take my kids everywhere. So I took the whole family, and we investigated it. But on the way, they wanted to get snacks. So we went, there's a place where you get like these cinnamon rolls that are like this big, and you can get a tub of icing. So we went and we got the cinnamon rolls and we took them with us. And for some reason, when we left it in the kitchen, like every time we walked by, like it was just unwrapped. Like I would wrap it back up because I'm like, hey, it's going to get hard. And they would, I would come back and it was unwrapped. And I look at the time, our kids were 10 and 7. And I was like, hey, are y'all, messing with the food? I told y'all, leave it wrapped. And they're like, oh, we thought it was in the car. You brought it in? Like they didn't. So they're like, no, it wasn't us. And they do take it like very seriously. They really do enjoy investigating. And they're like, we hadn't even been into the kitchen. We were in the old part of the house, with our tools. And I was like, oh, okay. But it happened at least 4 times. After that, I put it in a box because I was like, okay, this is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Maybe someone wanted to smell them.
Maybe
Maybe.
that's interesting. I didn't know that. That's cool. And Ernest is going there, right?
Yeah.
In June.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'll take some cinnamon rolls with you.
Right.
And yeah.
I'll give you the address of the place. It's like you have to stop.
But here's the kick on that, Ernest. If
Uh-huh.
you do that, make sure you got a camera pointing at them so you can see if
There you go.
Catch
I'm
any.
gonna take one of mine in the tripod.
Yeah. What kind of stuff do you guys usually get whenever you go out to cemeteries? Do you get any kind of EVPs or any videos or anything like that?
I've gotten recorded voices. I've gotten EVPs. I've gotten actually question and answers. Like if I had take one of my, it's like a stuffed animal, but when you touch it, it lights up.
Okay.
And it'll turn different colors. Mm-hmm. So I'll take that out there, and we usually take toys because I've done the one in Calvert that was the Yellow Fever Cemetery. We did the one in Salem that had the first pilgrim, and we did the one. Where's the one that I went to? Y'all didn't make it.
Babyhead.
The Babyhead.
Babyhead Cemetery. It's like Central Texas.
Yeah, those were the top 3 that I got a lot of stuff. Like if I asked something, it was answered in a recording. If I asked something at the kids' cemetery, they were very active with the toys and then answered back by touching.
Interesting. So these cemeteries you guys go to, how old are they?
I think Martha's Chapel is almost as old as the state.
Yeah.
When it was a republic of Texas, 1830s. Yeah, I think there's the oldest grave is around that time period.
The one in Salem was.
The other ones are just Babyhead Cemetery. It's based on the supposed. There was a town. I forget the name of the town, but the Indians put a curse on the town and they decapitated a baby. It's like one of those things. And Crystal went to that one. We couldn't make it. I forgot the reasons why, but that was one that was interesting to me.
That'd
So
be
that
cool.
so Babyhead Cemetery.
What's that?
That'd be cool just to investigate that town that the Native Americans put a curse on.
Yeah, it doesn't even exist anymore, I don't think, right? It's just it's just nothing.
1673.
Yeah, but that would
Salem.
that curse might stick to the land.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But I was saying though that Babyhead Cemetery seems to be the one that you said is attached to some sort of folklore in a way.
Right. Yeah. That's what they say, that an Indian had cursed them, and then there was a head that they chopped the head off a baby, and that's how it got its name. There's been investigation videos out there that they take the SLS camera, the Kinect camera.
Yeah.
Testing those.
We have that. We've not really used it, but yeah, they'll see a figure behind a tombstone or something like that. I don't know much.
Those cameras are designed, the way they're designed is for picking up movement. It's for picking up a person moving around, so it would react with the game, so that way you'd be able to play the game and stuff like that. Well, paranormal investigators have discovered that if you turn the camera around,
Yeah, I think that's why we don't use it too much at all.
So when I went to the one in Salem, my son at the time, who was 4, thought it would be a great idea to take a quarter off the first pilgrim's tombstone, because there was lots of quarters, and what do kids want? They want money. So he took the quarter.
they're curious.
And he's smiling at me. So he took the quarter, and we were like, dude, you got to put the quarter back. That's disrespectful. We gave him the whole spiel, and so he throws it back. Well, we get back to our room, and there was a quarter on the bed. I was like, okay, so I put the quarter in my purse. Then there's a quarter under the bed. Put the quarter in my purse. Quarter in the rush. There was quarters everywhere. They were not our quarters because we didn't bring money. We only have a credit card. So my son was really, really, really freaked out, and he swore up and down that we were doing it to him, and that he's like, I put the quarter back. But that I know has creeped him out. He is now 12, and as he's smiling at me because he remembers it vividly, because he didn't even sleep that night. He was like, I'm ready to go to the next state.
Don't ever take anything.
Well, listening to that story, I'm kind of thinking that maybe the spirit there developed an attachment to your son and was giving him quarters
He's shaking his head
to indicate that it was okay for him to have one.
Yeah. He had a good seven quarters by the time we left.
There you go. See? That's enough to go buy a candy bar, right?
Yeah. Before inflation.
Yeah.
Back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, back then.
Yeah, because we flew up to Washington, and then we just drove through everywhere. And he was like, "Yep, I'm ready to go." He was wanting to go to the next state.
Yeah.
So whereabouts is that the first Pilgrims?
So I did look up the year. So it's 1673, and it's in Salem, Massachusetts.
Okay, so it's one of the cemeteries in Salem.
Yes, it's the same one where the witch trials were done.
Okay.
That would be really interesting to go.
That one definitely would be interesting.
Well, you want to? It's so nice.
Unfortunately, the only time I was out there was when I was working. I didn't get the chance that I wanted to when I got out there.
It's gorgeous.
They flew me into Ronald Reagan Airport.
Uh-huh.
I think it was the Ronald Reagan. It was over. It's the one. Yeah, I think it was Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, DC. Yeah.
And then I drove from there down to, God, trying to remember all this. I actually got a rental car from there, drove all the way down to, I can't even remember the freaking state I went into.
Or
Or the town I was in.
You go through like 4 states while we're still in the same city here.
Yeah. I wound up going all the way to Norfolk, Virginia on one of my routes.
You went south, okay.
So, yeah. And then I went up north from there through
Maryland.
Maryland. It was Maryland is where I was at, actually. But I can't remember the name of the town.
So what do you guys think? I want to ask you this, too.
Yeah.
So I was telling Ernest this the other day that I didn't realize this, but Villisca Axe Murder House is no longer owned by the Darwin's wife. It's owned by U.S. Ghost Adventures, like a ghost hunting outfit. They also bought the Lizzie Borden house. And I don't know how you guys think about that.
When did that happen? Do you know?
I don't know when it happened. I just found out about it like 2 days ago, but I'm sure it happened sooner than that.
I just think a lot of things change depending on who buys it and what they do.
Well, I just know that about that murder house in Iowa there, that whoever owned it at the time that this was going on was having problems because they were overbooking and canceling people out at the last minute. And a friend of ours had a couple of bad experiences there with the owners of that house in the past. Because we were supposed to go when we went. We only did 2 parts to that. That was going to be a 3-part trip, but like I said, that thing gets overbooked, and so we couldn't get in. We couldn't fit in on that. So we went to the Buddy Holly crash site, investigated that, and then for our school in Maxwell, Iowa. And then Dale Kazmarek went to that axe murder house the next day. And I just heard a lot of people had bad experiences with that in the past, and it's mostly because of people that were running the place.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the cool one. That.
So I don't know what it's like now. I'd like to get there someday.
It'd be nice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's kind of like the Conjuring house. I forget the previous owners. They were paranormal investigators. They had bought the house. They even took the name Conjuring House and changed it to that something house on the hill or something like that.
The farm.
But then, the farm on the hill. But then a real estate agent bought the house, and now it's just a cash cow. It seems. I don't know. I don't know.
I get leery once they've been purchased so many times and things have
Yeah.
changed. Because when I went to Jefferson, like with y'all, but like I'd been like when the original owners, it was like night and day.
It's like sleeping in an antique store.
Yeah, but I felt like I was at a circus.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah.
Whereas like
I don't like those places that tend to charge so much to just be in there all the time, unless you know that the money is going to like keep the place in like that same, just keep it from falling apart. Keep it from falling apart,
maintenance.
Yeah, maintenance. But then you got these people that are charging outrageous things, turning parts of it into a museum, and making fist over, it's not good. I don't know how some people do that in good conscience when all it is trying to find answers.
We joke all the time when we buy a place.
Yeah, retirement.
There's like a bar here. There's like a bar here. They're doing this big event because it's like the anniversary or something of it or whatever, and it's like that's the one that I always like. Nope, I'm not going to pay them squat because you don't know if those owners are staging anything.
Yeah.
That's
people can't be trusted.
That's always been my pet peeve about going places that you have to, or that they expect a high amount to, they charge you $50, $60, $100, whatever, for one person to go there. No, not around here. But to where you don't know if it's going to actually go towards keeping the place up or if it's going to go in the person's pocket. I can see charging money like that to keep the place going and keep it in condition to where you can actually have investigators in. But the bar he's talking about is up north of us, and it's got such a reputation in the state of Wisconsin. I couldn't trust going in there, and if I got any kind of hit on anything or got recordings or video or anything like that, I'd have a hard time trusting that it was real.
Well, and then with what you and I did long before we even got this far, think about how we know for a fact how simple it is to make an illusion to scare the hell out of people.
Oh, I know.
I mean, we used to create one of the best haunted houses in Madison for a few years in a row. So we know how some of these little tricks work with these people, and it makes us look for stuff like that too much.
Right.
Because people can't be trusted. Some people can't be trusted, and they're just out for the 15 minutes of fame. And I've seen this bar on TV more times than I could shake a stick at. They're constantly in the news or across Facebook for something. But yeah, I can't trust them.
But yeah, but there are other places I do trust.
You said you've been to the Farrar School in Iowa. Have you been to the Edinburgh Manor in Iowa?
No.
Okay.
No, those were set up. That was set up once. That was the only out-of-state trips we've taken so far, except for the one time I went to Chicago.
Yeah.
Or twice. I've been to Chicago twice since we've been doing this.
Oh, I got a question, and this is a good one. Ernest and I have been talking about this a while. What do you think about the title forensic therapist?
Forensic therapist.
Like I could make money on that.
Yeah, somebody we saw. Well, yeah, they introduced themselves as a forensic therapist, and I looked it up on Psychology Today. It's an actual thing, but it's
Is
for
it
people
really?
that are obsessed with UFOs and Bigfoot and stuff like that. But I don't see why that's called a forensic therapist. I don't know.
I feel like it's like just as like a life coach.
The one.
I always thought it was like maybe somebody that was like
Paranormal
giving
therapist.
therapy to the dead to make them pass,
Paranormal
so they
therapist.
pass over, When I heard that, that's, because you think forensics, me watching NCIS, first person I think of is Ducky.
Joe, I misspoke. I meant paranormal therapist.
Paranormal therapy.
Paranormal therapist. So why can't there be a paranormal nutritionist or a paranormal antagonist?
Okay, so they're giving
paranormal
themselves
nutrition.
titles now?
Huh?
They're giving themselves titles, right?
Yeah. So
I mean,
It seems
I
that way.
don't know how that could be. I don't know. That don't make sense.
So they invite spirits into their home to give them therapy,
I guess have a seat.
or they go and sit out in the woods with Bigfoot and give him therapy.
Sounds like messing with Sasquatch, right?
Well,
Yeah.
that's like some of those people out there saying they're experts.
Yeah, I saw that podcast.
I don't give a crap how long you've been doing this. You ain't gonna be an expert on it.
Well, Dale agrees with us on that, and he's been doing this since 1974.
There are certain things you can be an expert on, but the paranormal, I doubt it.
It's a pseudo-science,
I don't say
honey.
there-
It is
so much
such.
unknown.
There is so much changing, so much happening, and so many things that go on that are kind of unexplained. I don't think you can ever be a.
Expert or a
I-
self.
I don't think we'll see an expert in our time.
Oh, Crystal, there is a question I was going to ask you because I asked the guys. They said that you do the Ouija board. Do you do tarots too?
No, but I am currently in a beginner state because so my daughter recently moved in with me and she does them. And so she's like, Mom, I can do these things. And like, she just goes into like all this stuff that she does.
Mhm.
And I said, oh, well, that's really interesting. Because I've never told, like, she knows so she's 27. So there's a big age difference in my kids. There's like 15 years. So she's never been on any of the ghost things with me. I did that after I graduated college. And so now that she's an adult, she's just moved in. And so she's sharing like what she enjoys in life and what she's found after being an adult. And she does them, and she can read them. She does lots of things that I didn't know she was capable of doing. And it really kind of opened my mind up to like, what else am I capable of? I just have been holding back because I'm always very reserved due to my profession, but I'm trying to be open-minded. And I'm like, if she holds those gifts, and I know I got mine from Mom, like what else is there?
Yep.
So,
Yep. Tarots are they're an interesting tool.
yeah, my first one was 2012, and I wish I would have listened.
What happened?
She literally flat out told me that the person that brought me there, I was not meant to be with.
Oh, that's all you stuck in your head, right? You didn't pay attention to that.
I didn't pay attention to anything else. But now, fast forward, I mean, I'm divorced.
Well, it happens.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the stuff she said, like I was going through some legal issues at the time with my daughter's father, and I was trying to get her into rehab because for the longest I thought something was wrong with her. But I mean, ultimately, she was just trying to learn her gifts and control them. And so they told me that was going to pass. It was all going to be okay. It was going to work itself out, and I needed to stop putting pressure on it. And it did. I mean, it did put me at ease, and it went away. So.
And she was able to work it out.
Yeah. I mean, now as an adult, I mean, she finds peace in it, and she enjoys it and does it. She doesn't charge or anything. Like, she just does it because she enjoys the gift.
Yep. Good.
Would you be interested in going on an investigation?
I'm pretty sure. I've talked her into a lot of stuff lately.
Well, I'll tell you, if you do want to get into doing the tarots and reading them, I would suggest getting the Rider deck. That is the most common and most popular beginner deck of tarots that they have.
Okay, the Rider, like R.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Rider deck. They're in a kind of a yellowish looking pack, and they'll have the magician dressed in a red robe on the front of it.
Okay.
Ooh.
I think I feel like I've seen it.
And they've got like a checker type backing on them too, kind of a grayish blue.
Rider.
Kind of a Rider pack. I actually have a pack, that pack, and I can't find it. I have 3 other packs besides that, but I do have that one somewhere in all my stuff that I have around here.
Well, I know Tanya had it. I just went to look over on her side, but it's such a mess. It's a wonder she can find anything over there.
Are you two in the same city?
No.
No.
He's in Watertown and I'm in Waterloo. We're about 20 miles apart.
Okay.
Well, we used. I'm like from Madison mostly.
Okay.
I was born in, well, not born there, but I was raised in the Madison area.
Is there a place in Wisconsin that you would recommend paranormal investigators definitely need to go to? Is there anything?
I'll let him tell
Crickets.
you.
Well,
Sorry.
my favorite, it might not be somebody else's because I'm into cryptids. You
Well,
know,
also, I like cemeteries.
Okay.
And Madison has one of the oldest cemeteries that is around.
Yeah, I used to play Ghosts in the Graveyard there.
So, Mark, since you like cemeteries, I'll ask, when you're at a cemetery, do you feel more at peace there than we do with, like, let's say, anywhere else?
I feel more of a calm energy there, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't feel like there's as much of the pressure of life and the pressure of the world there.
I would agree. I just didn't know if that was a common feeling.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Well, Yeah, kind of. It is.
I'm
It
ready.
is kind of a common feeling in the cemeteries because it's supposed to be. That's what cemeteries are designed to be. Is more of a peaceful, tranquil area for you to have your final resting place.
I like to look at the headstones. Well, first I like to find the oldest. But the ones that are run down, like and like kind of fix them, clean them up, and like kind of even research who it was.
Hmm.
I did that with. We're in Texas, obviously, so up
Yeah.
to the Huntsville State Prison Cemetery,
Mm.
and we found the area where they had like the first inmates, and that was before they started just putting numbers. They put names, and that was interesting because when I was in college, I worked death row, and I would hear stories of people. So, but like to go and actually find their final resting place, and given that those people did not all pass away of their own free will.
Oh, Marshmallow.
Look,
Can we go over?
it was interesting.
So what did you do to be working on death row? If I know that?
I went to Sam Houston State University. It was the highest paying job, and I had a 2-year-old, and so I took the highest paying job in the town.
Hmm.
We got a statue of you there.
So what's next for you guys? We got to end this soon.
Oh, well, we're waiting on an invitation to Haunted House, maybe returning. Probably won't happen, but we have a special Halloween investigation. We don't want to give it away, but it's going to be an educational investigation. 2 locations live at the same time, but about 20 miles apart. We're still working on logistics for that. And then the best time for us to go to places is during when the kids are out of school, Thanksgiving break, Christmas break. That's when we get a lot of the stuff. So maybe Iowa and Kansas, and then Ohio. I never told you about Ohio?
Mhm.
Yeah. The Bel Air House doing a paranormal lockdown for 3 days.
Wow.
Hopefully.
Well, if you make your way up to Iowa, and you can, I'd say Farrer School if they're still setting it up for people to go in.
But the owners stay on site, don't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they stay on site.
Okay.
It's in Maxwell, Iowa.
Okay. Definitely on our radar. Yeah.
You can also, pull up your camper there and camp outside
Nice.
or whatever. They're pretty decent people if it's the same
Yeah.
owners.
Yeah, if it is, they are. But one thing, you're not. The cemetery directly across the street from them is off limits.
Really?
Yeah, so if you're going to do any filming of the cemetery, you're going to have to do it with the road interfering in between,
Okay.
Or go up to the upper floor of the school to one of the
And-
bay windows and film
Yeah.
them
Point the cameras down.
Or fly a drone over it.
That too.
I'm almost licensed to fly one.
there. Possibly.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're going to be a paranormal like
Drone.
Hey, I got
expert.
I got a drone. I got a drone for me and him both, and it's one of those. It's just small enough, and it stays under the height the height rating. We don't need a license to fly it.
Is that a
Oh, I see it.
what's the name of it?
Drone.
SMS.
Okay,
SMS.
cool. Yeah.
It's an SMS, and it folds up. It will fold up like that, and it comes with a remote, or you can actually hook it to
Cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
this and use this as the remote, and you can record. You can record video and pictures and stuff like that. So, but it is small enough. It's a small enough one, and stays under that. I think it's a 450.
450
The FCC rolls.
ground. Yeah.
Yeah, it won't go quite 400 feet up. So it stays under that
And
400.
it doesn't
foot.
go anywhere near fast enough.
Right, and it doesn't fly fast like these big ass commercial ones.
Okay.
But it's a fun little device. I've already played with mine a couple of times. So we're gonna try and incorporate those in with our
That one just staying in the box for now.
All right. Cool.
I told him when he handed it to me, I said, I'm just going to crash this thing and break it.
Yeah.
He's like, nope, it's dummy proof. And I said, I don't buy
It
that.
is.
I still can crash it. I'll still find a way.
It's dummy proof, and I've proved it. I was trying to put the remote has a holder for the phone. I was trying to put my phone in it, and I had the drone on sitting on the kitchen table and didn't realize I had it on and the remote on. And I hit the launch button on the remote.
Yeah, it's gone, right? It just took off.
It did. It fired up and took off, and it stopped like that far from the ceiling.
Cool.
It's got the proximity crash
It's got
sensor.
sensor,
Be
yeah.
careful.
Thank goodness.
You only get about 4 of those close calls because we're on 3 right now. Really close calls. You only get about 4 of those, and then it's over.
But yeah,
well-
I thought I was done with that thing, and it just went whoop and just stopped and just sat there and hovered. Ugh.
Well, thanks everybody for coming.
Hey,
It
thanks
was
for
nice
having
meeting
us.
you
For having
guys.
us.
Yeah,
We'll be
thank
back next week. We don't know what's happening yet. It's still in the works. And y'all stay safe. And
You be
remember, anything's possible.
Yes, it
absolutely.
is.
Good night.
Good
Good
night.
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 Bye.